The House will come to order. Prayer by the chaplain.
Buju ninindwe magani dug nagamo ma ingen indishna kaz wabisheshin dodem ojiboy kwayendal dishnejo medeo mede wana kwayendal gije manadu mishomasanan nokomasanan migwachwaindan wabanang migwachwaindan jawanang migwachwaindan ingabian migwachwaindan kiwadanang migwachwaindan ni mama ki migwachwaindan ishpaming migwachwaindan Mino bimadaziwan. Nibe kizakeiku kimi kwechuwe nimiku kizawe nimiku Nibe kizakeiku Kimi kwechuwe nimiku gives away nimiku. Water, we love you, we thank you, we respect you. Nibe kizakeiku kimi kwechuwe nimiku gives away nimiku Nibe kizakeiku kimi kwechuwe nimiku gives away nimiku Ajuwaina Mishanan, Gijemanadu, Ajuwaina Mishanan, Gijemanadu, Ajuwaina Mishanan, Gijemanadu, Ajuwaina Mishanan, Gijemanadu, Nikani, Kani, Kanigina, Miigwech.
The chaplain for today is Sharon Day, Executive Director for Indigenous Peoples Task Force in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Pledge of Allegiance. Please remain standing and recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. The clerk will take the roll.
No idea where my phone is.
The clerk will call the members voting remotely.
Bliss. Bliss. Hussein.
Go ahead.
Hussein is present.
Hussein.
Go ahead, say it again.
Momani Hildsleep.
Hussein is here.
Momani Hildsleep present.
Momani Hildsleep present. Perez Vega.
Perez Vega present.
Perez Vega present. Bliss. I don't know his name. Bliss. Hussein.
Okay. Yep, go ahead again.
Hussein is here.
Hussein present. I've called him 3 or 4 times. Bliss. He's working on it?
Bliss here.
Bliss.
Bliss here.
Go ahead again. Go ahead.
Bliss.
Here.
He can't hear you. Say it again.
Bliss here.
Bliss present.
The clerk will close the roll. A quorum is present.
I recognize a member from Wright County, Representative Rarick, to introduce our distinguished guests from Taiwan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So over here, we have the Director General for the Midwest Office out of Chicago for the Taiwanese, for the country of Taiwan, and the Vice Consul Jay Lin. So they are here today because we're doing a resolution to remember that we have a great friendship with the country of Taiwan. And so in a little bit, we'll be reading the resolution. So if you would welcome our guests all the way from Taiwan.
Representative Rarick.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I believe that we're going to be reading the resolution. I believe Liz Lee is probably the first one on the list. Don't have the list. If Representative Lee.
I recognize the member from Ramsey, Representative Lee.
Thank you, Chair. So I will start out and I will swap with Representative Robbins, who I think is otherwise preoccupied. But we'll start with, whereas in 1984, the state of Minnesota established a sister state relationship with Taiwan. Since then, Minnesota and Taiwan have enjoyed strong bilateral trade, educational, and cultural exchanges and tourism. And whereas Taiwan shares the same values of freedom, democracy, human rights, rule of law, peace, and prosperity with the United States and the state of Minnesota. And whereas the United States ranks as Taiwan's second largest trading partner, Taiwan was the 8th largest trading partner of the United States, and bilateral trade reached more than $185.7 billion in 2024. And
whereas Taiwan was the United States' 7th largest merchandise trading partner, the 12th largest export market, and the 8th largest source of inputs in 2024. And whereas from 2021 to 2024, trade between the United States and Taiwan grew 62%, reaching $158.6 billion, with Taiwan's direct investment in the United States totaling $14.1 billion, bolstering supply chains, resilience, industrial cooperation, innovation, talent exchange, and whereas Taiwan imported $8.46 billion worth of the United States farm products from 2021 to 2024, making it the 9th largest market for the United States soybeans and corn, and benefiting Minnesota farmers. And
Representative Rarick.
Madam Speaker, I'm sorry. So you should have the list of who's next. It should be Representative Vang next. So if every member could say who's after them, that would be great. So apparently the Speaker doesn't have the list unless Representative Lee would like to give that to her. So Representative Vang is the next person.
Madam Speaker, whereas Taiwan sent an agriculture goodwill trade mission to Minnesota in September 2022, followed by another agriculture goodwill trade mission to the United States in September 2025. It made commitments to purchase up to $9.6 billion of United States soybean and corn from various American states, including Minnesota. And whereas, due to its high-quality produce, the United States remain one of Taiwan's largest sources of agricultural products, supplying more than 1/5 of the country's major agricultural imports. And whereas President Lai Ching-te announced that Taiwanese businesses plan to increase purchases of agricultural commodities to $10 billion between 2025 and 2028, an 18% rise, which will reduce the United States trade deficit and mitigate risks from the global trade disruptions. And
whereas Taiwan and the state of Minnesota has enjoyed a long and mutually beneficial relationship. With the prospect of the future, the growth of Taiwan was Minnesota's 9th largest export market in 2024, with $640 million worth of Minnesota goods exported to Taiwan. Whereas Taiwan provided more than 100,000 masks to Minnesota during the COVID-19 pandemic in a gesture of goodwill to help meet global humanitarian needs. Whereas to strengthen Taiwan-Minnesotan bilateral economic relationship, it is essential to support Minnesota business, economic engagement with Taiwan pursuant to the 1979 Taiwan Relations Act, Public Law 96-8, United States Code, Title 22, Section 3301. As Article 4, Section B of the Taiwan Relations Act stipulates that wherever the laws of the United States refer to or relate to foreign countries, nations, states, governments, or similar entities, such terms shall include such laws shall apply with respect to Taiwan. It is legitimate for Minnesota business to refer to Taiwan as Taiwan when conducting business with Taiwan.
Representative Freiberg.
I believe Representative XP Lee might be next.
Representative Lee Exby.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Whereas this year's Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Month, we celebrate Minnesota's vibrant Taiwanese American community, which has enriched the state's culture, cuisine, and commerce for decades. And whereas 2026 also marks the 30th anniversary of, marks the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States, a milestone reflecting the nation's enduring commitment to liberty, democracy, prosperity, and peace. And whereas 2026 also marks the 30th anniversary of Taiwan's first presidential election, underscoring the importance of peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait and the shared responsibility of democratic partners to deter aggression. Now, therefore,
Representative Freiberg.
Be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the State of Minnesota that it reaffirms its commitment to strengthening and deepening the sister ties between the State of Minnesota and Taiwan. Be it further resolved by the House of Representatives of the State of Minnesota that it reaffirms its support for the Taiwan Relations Act and supports Minnesota businesses referring to Taiwan as Taiwan. And I will yield to Representative Liz Lee.
Representative Lee.
Be it further resolved by the House of Representatives of the State of Minnesota that it encourages and supports continued efforts by the governments of the United States and Taiwan to advance negotiations toward a bilateral trade agreement and to negotiate and conclude a comprehensive tax agreement to address double taxation, recognizing that such agreements would enhance bilateral trade, promote increased investment, and create new economic opportunities that benefit the people and businesses of Minnesota. And now I will yield to Representative Purcell.
Be it further resolved by the House of Representatives of the State of Minnesota that it supports Taiwan's meaningful participation in the international arena and condemns efforts to undermine Taiwan's sovereign status or international engagements through the distortion of United Nations General Assembly Resolution 2758. I yield to Representative Nash.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Be it further resolved by the House of Representatives of the State of Minnesota that it recognizes the significance of these historic milestones and reaffirms its strong support for continued peace, stability, and prosperity in the Taiwan Strait. And be it further resolved by the House of Representatives in the State of Minnesota that it endorses Taiwan's efforts to secure the signing of a bilateral trade agreement, the avoidance of double taxation agreement, and Indo-Pacific economic framework for prosperity with the United States, and reiterates its support for a closer economic and trade partnership between the United States, between the state of Minnesota and Taiwan. I yield to
Representative Mueller.
And thank you, Madam Speaker. Be it further resolved by the House of Representatives of the State of Minnesota that it continues to support Taiwan's meaningful participation in international organizations such as the United Nations, the World Health Organization, International Civil Aviation Organization, United States Framework Convention on Climate Change, and the International Criminal Police Organization, which impact the health, safety, and well-being of the people of Taiwan and supports Taiwan's aspiration to make more contributions to the international societies. Be it further resolved by the House of Representatives that the State of Minnesota, that it supports the State of Minnesota and Taiwan in continuing to deepen their bilateral partnership, strengthen economic and people-to-people ties, and advance shared democratic values in the years ahead. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I recognize a member from Anoka, Representative Niska.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, we're going to take a brief recess for pictures, so please stay in your seats. Madam Speaker, I move a recess to the call of the Speaker.
Representative Niska moves a recess to the call of the Speaker. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion prevails and the House stands in recess.